Which one of the following is a CSS class selector? A. Div code. B. Code. C. Code. D. Code. The correct answer is B. In CSS, a class selector targets elements based on their class attribute. The syntax for a class selector is a period, symbol, followed immediately by the class name. Code is the correct class selector. It would select all elements with class equals code. Div code is an attribute selector that selects elements with a code attribute. Code is an ID selector that selects the single element with ID equals code. Code, without a prefix, is a type selector that selects all elements. What holds true for logical and physical topologies? A. Physical and logical topologies are typically the same. B. Logical topologies describe how a network moves information across devices. C. Physical topologies show each network's IP addressing method. D. Physical topologies are focused on the frame transfer mechanisms used by a network. White heavy checkmark correct answer. B. Logical topologies describe how a network moves information across devices. Magnifying glass tilted left brief explanation. Logical topology refers to the path or method that data uses to travel across the network, regardless of the physical layout. It deals with protocols, data flow, and addressing. Physical topology refers to the actual arrangement of cables, devices, and connections. Cross-mark why the other options are incorrect. A. Logical and physical topologies are often different, e.g., a physical star network can operate logically as a bus or ring. C. IP addressing is part of the logical addressing scheme, not the physical layout. D. Frame transfer mechanisms, like Ethernet or token ring, are defined by the logical topology, not the physical one.
Which of the following is not primarily an e-commerce application? Options are A. Magento, B. WordPress, C. Drupal e-commerce modules, or D. CubeCart. The correct answer is B. WordPress. A brief explanation. WordPress is fundamentally a content management system, CMS, and blogging platform. While it can be extended for e-commerce functionality through plugins like WooCommerce, its core purpose is content creation and management, not e-commerce.
Defining real-world objects in terms of classes or interfaces. A. Polymorphism. B. Encapsulation. C. Inheritance. D. Abstraction. Correct answer, D. Abstraction. Brief explanation. Abstraction is the process of hiding complex implementation details and showing only the essential features of an object. In object-oriented programming, OOP, this is achieved by defining a simplified model such as a class or interface that represents a real-world object, focusing on what it does rather than how it does it. The other options describe different OOP principles. Polymorphism allows methods to do different things based on the object. Encapsulation bundles data and methods together and restricts direct access. Inheritance allows a new class to derive properties and behaviors from an existing class.
What command is used to alter the default permissions for files and directories when they are created? The options are A. chgrp, B. chown, C. umask, or D. chmod. The correct answer is C. umask. The umask command sets or displays the default permission mask for new files and directories. It subtracts permissions from the system's default, defining what permissions are not given to newly created items. The other commands have different purposes. chgrp changes the group ownership of a file or directory. chown changes the owner and optionally the group of a file or directory. And chmod changes the permissions of an existing file or directory, not the default for new ones. What will be the output of the following program when the button is clicked? VB private sub btn display underscore click handles btn display dot click. Dim number as double equals 3. Double and square number. txtbox.text equals cstr number. And sub. Sub, double and square, by ref, myvar as double. Myvar equals myvar plus myvar. Myvar equals myvar times myvar. And sub. Options: A, 36, B, 3, C, 6, D, 0. Correct answer, A, 36. Explanation: the variable number is initially set to 3. Number is passed by reference to the subroutine double and square, meaning changes inside the subroutine affect the original variable. Inside the subroutine, first line, myvar equals myvar plus myvar equals 3 plus 3 equals 6. Second line, myvar equals myvar times myvar equals 6 times 6 equals 36. The modified value, 36, is passed back to number, which is then displayed in the text box.
Based on the schema: branch, branch no, street, city, postcode. Property for rent, property no, street, city, postcode, type, rooms, rent, branch no. List all cities where there is both a branch office and at least one property for rent. Options: A, Pi, city, branch, natural join, Pi, city, property for rent. B, Pi, city, branch, set difference, Pi, city, property for rent. C, Pi, city, branch, intersection, Pi, city, property for rent. D, Pi, city, branch, union, Pi, city, property for rent. Correct answer: C, Pi, city, branch, intersection, Pi, city, property for rent. Explanation: the question asks for cities that appear in both tables, branch and property for rent. The intersection operator, intersection, in relational algebra returns only the tuples or rows that are present in both relations. The other operators mean natural join would combine columns, not just find common cities. Set difference would return cities in the first set but not the second. Union would return all cities from both tables, not just the common ones. Thus, the correct relational algebra expression is Pi, city, branch, intersection, Pi, city, property for rent. This returns exactly the set of cities that have both a branch office and at least one property for rent.
Dash is a built-in function that returns the lower bound of an array. Options: A, low bound, B, LR bound, C, BR bound, D, L bound. Correct answer: D, L bound. Explanation: in many programming languages, especially BASIC, VBA, and VB.NET, the function L-bound, short for lower bound, is used to retrieve the smallest available index, lower bound, of an array. The other options are not standard array functions in any common programming language.
Which command will display the amount of disk space each file in the current directory consumes? Options: A. ls-la, B. du, C. ls-l, D. ls-a. Correct answer: B. du. Brief explanation. The du command, disk usage, is specifically designed to display the estimated disk space used by files and directories. When run without flags in the current directory, it shows the space used by each file and subdirectory. The ls commands are used for listing files, not for showing disk usage. ls-la lists all files in long format, including hidden ones. ls-l lists files in long format, showing sizes in bytes, but not actual disk usage, which can differ due to block allocation. ls-a lists all files including hidden ones, but without sizes.
Refers to a property of computers to run several operations simultaneously, made possible as they await responses from each other. Options are A. Concurrency, B. Recovery, C. Backup, D. Deadlock. Correct answer is A. Concurrency. Brief explanation. Concurrency is the ability of a system to execute multiple tasks or processes at overlapping times, even if they don't run literally at the same instant. This is often achieved through interleaving operations while waiting for responses, like I/O operations, which makes efficient use of resources. The other options describe unrelated concepts. Recovery is the process of restoring a system after a failure. Backup is the act of copying data to prevent loss. Deadlock is a problematic state where processes are stuck waiting for each other indefinitely. Concurrency enables systems to make progress on multiple tasks by switching between them during waiting periods, increasing overall throughput and responsiveness.
Examine the following piece of code for a login page. What function will be valid in place of the question mark symbol? PHP $SQL equals select all from users where username equals $uname and password equals MD5 of $pword. $result equals MySQL underscore query of $SQL. $rows equals question mark of $result. If $result, if $rows greater than 0, session underscore start, $session of login equals header location index.php close paren, else session underscore start, $session of login equals header location signup.php close paren, else Options: A. MySQLi underscore fetch row, B. MySQL underscore num rows, C. MySQL underscore num fields, D. MySQL underscore field flags. Correct answer: B. MySQL underscore num rows. Brief explanation. The variable $rows is compared with greater than 0 to check if at least one matching user record was found. MySQL underscore num rows returns the number of rows in a result set, which is exactly what is needed here to determine if the login credentials are valid. The other functions are used for different purposes. MySQLi underscore fetch row retrieves a row of data, not a count. MySQL underscore num fields returns the number of columns in a result set. And MySQL underscore field flags returns flags associated with a field, for example, not null or auto increment.
A tuple takes a null value when a record does not have a value for it. Correct answer, A, no. In database terminology, a null value represents the absence of a value or an unknown or missing value in a tuple or row for a particular attribute or column. Null is not the same as 0, a numeric value, or an empty string. It signifies that the field is intentionally left blank or the data is unavailable. The other options are not standard SQL or database terms for representing missing values. Not applicable may describe a real-world case, but the formal database value is null. 0 is a numeric value, not a placeholder for missing data. Unknown is a meaning of null, but the technical term in SQL is null.